welcome back to my channel. I am the Ink Northerner, and today I thought I'd bring a little bit of a different pickups video to you. I've managed to pick up quite a decent bundle of WWE DVDs. There is nothing spectacular in here. There are two that I particularly like, well, three technically. What I'll do is a couple of duplicates as well. I'll run through them, run through the artwork, give an idea of what matches are on there, and then take it from there. The reason I bought these physically now is looking at what's happening with WWE Network in the US. It looks like they're going to be closing the network and moving everything to Peacock Wireless. Now whether they close the network down or whether it just gets routed through to Peacock, I'm not sure, but I wanted to head off any potential issues in the UK of me being able to watch some of these pay-per-views. There isn't anything sort of pre-2000s, unfortunately. There's nothing really rare, nothing really special, but there are some things that I particularly wanted. So without further ado, let's crack on with the first one. So the first one, these are also, I've not done anything with them, I've not cleaned them up or anything yet. So the first one is No Way Out 2006. As you can see from the front, the headline match is going to be Kurt Angle and The Undertaker for the Heavyweight Championship. You also have Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton for Mysterio's WWE title, WrestleMania title opportunity, and Benoit and Booker T for the US Championship. A lot of these I will have watched when they were live, but I'm not going to remember matches from them unless they were sort of like a majorly special pay-per-view. I'm not going to remember them all off the top of my head. Next up, we have the 2006 ECW One Night Stand. Not the best one of the two. This features the WWE Championship match with Cena versus Van Dam, as you can see from the front. You got Mysterio versus Sabu for the Heavyweight Championship, and then there's a couple of mixed tag matches, Angle Orton, and then Taz versus Jerry the King Lawler, which should be fun to watch Taz batter Jerry the King Lawler. Okay, next up we have SmackDown Presents Armageddon 2004. So this will have been a SmackDown only pay-per-view, I would imagine, back when the brands were split properly. Highlights on here: you got a Fatal 4-Way for the WWE Championship with JBL, Taker, Guerrero and Booker T. Street Fight for the US title with Cena versus Jesus, and a 3-on-1 handicap match, Big Show versus Luther Reigns, Mark Jindrak, Kurt Angle, and then a tag team match for the WWE Tag Team Championships, which features IVD and Mysterio versus Kenzo Suzuki and Rene Dupree. Okay, I'm going to try and get through these because there's like 30 or 40 of them. So next up we have New Year's Resolution, which doesn't have a date, but I think it's 2005. I think this was one of the ones that wasn't actually inside the US. There's an Elimination Chamber match on this, which has Triple H, Batista, Edge, Orton, Jericho and Benoit, Kane versus Snitsky, Benjamin versus Maven, Lita versus Trish. We then have Unforgiven 2007. Again, looking at this, it's going to be a very Undertaker heavy pay-per-view, you would have thought, but it's the WWE Championship match, features Cena and Orton. There's a triple threat for their heavyweight, which is Mysterio, Great Khali, who was the champion at the time, why I don't know, and Batista, and then you have Undertaker versus Mark Henry. We then have Unforgiven 2005, which features Cena versus Angle, Carlito, Ric Flair, Matt Hardy versus Edge, which would have been possibly the culmination of the Edge Lita Hardy feud, and then there's a few undercard matches, Shawn Michaels versus Chris Masters. I don't really remember. I think this was probably, they were probably building on the storyline of when Cena first came in and you know, beat Kurt Angle. Next up we have the Great American Bash 2006, featuring Rey Mysterio, King Booker, Undertaker versus Big Show in a Punjabi prison match, Batista versus Mr. Kennedy. We then have Royal Rumble 2006, the apart from the Rumble, you've got the Heavyweight Championship, which is Angle versus Mark Henry, and the WWE Championship, which is Edge versus John Cena. Best of WWE, Batista Unleashed. I'm not going to go through the matches on there. Judgment Day 2007, which has a handicap match of Bobby Lashley versus the McMahons and Umaga. You then have Edge versus Batista, Benoit versus MVP. Armageddon 2007, Orton, Jericho, Batista, Edge and Undertaker for the World Heavyweight Championship, and the winner gets the WWE Championship match at Royal Rumble, Triple H versus Jeff Hardy. SummerSlam 2006, Edge versus John Cena again, King Booker versus Batista for the World, and then you've got Big Show, Sabu for the ECW, and DX versus the McMahons. Judgment Day 2006, as I say, some of these are going to be repeats. I can't remember which ones I've pulled out and which ones I've not. Highlights in here, Mysterio, JBL, which I think was through the whole JBL sort of patrolling the Mexican border. I think that storyline ran up to that. We then have Survivor Series 2009, which is actually in a steel tin. John Cena, Triple H, Shawn Michaels for the World Heavyweight Championship. So why they're facing off against each other and they're in a triple threat match, I don't know. Traditional Survivor Series matches, and then the triple threat for the World Heavyweight, which is Undertaker, Big Show and Jericho. Cyber Sunday 2007, Orton versus Michaels, Punk versus The Miz, Batista, Taker. Austin was the special guest referee for that match. Taboo Tuesday 2005, Michaels versus Cena versus Angle, Ric Flair, Triple H, Batista versus Coachman with Goldust and Vader. Mankind versus Carlito. Royal Rumble 2005, it's Triple H versus Randy Orton, JBL versus Kurt Angle versus Big Show. Traditional Rumble match. There was a casket match of Undertaker versus Heidenreich as well. Heidenreich was a waste of a character. This was one of the three that I particularly wanted. It's the WrestleMania 25th anniversary. Now, unfortunately, it's missing the slipcover, so I can't give you a rundown of all the matches are on here, and I can't really remember what they were. I do remember that with Cena and the Avalanche sort of FU, but I'm a bit hazy on that. We have Vengeance Night of Champions 2007. Now there is a duplicate in here. It's got a championship challenge on it. Got a match to determine the ECW champion and the last chance, and then all the championships are defended at this pay-per-view. No Way Out 2004 with the late great Eddie Guerrero on there. This features him versus Brock, and then a triple threat match of Angle, Cena, Big Show. WWE live in the UK. This is from November 2008. New Year's Revolution 2006, which also has an elimination chamber in it. I don't think I've shown this one. Flair versus Edge is probably the next biggest match on there. Vengeance 2005. Triple H versus Batista in a Hell in a Cell. Cena versus Christian versus Chris Jericho for the WWE Championship. Just move this pile down to the floor for a second. We then have Cyber Sunday 2006, which has Big Show, John Cena and King Booker. 100% Stratisfaction guaranteed, Trish Stratus, featuring some of her matches and talking about her Divas stuff, I believe. Best of Raw versus SmackDown, SmackDown's most memorable matches, and that's Volume 1. We have the Bash 2006, can't remember if I don't think this is a repeat. I think I showed 2005. This has got a Punjabi prison match on it as well, which features Undertaker versus Big Show. Why? I'm not entirely sure why Great Khali's pictured on there, because he's not even mentioned being as part of it. So whether he was replaced at the last minute, I don't know. Night of Champions 2008. This is where they're all defended. You got the tag team championships, which is the Miz and Morrison, who are back together now. The world was Triple H versus Cena, and Edge versus Batista, and the WWE was Triple H versus Cena. A sealed copy of Best of WWE Rey Mysterio. This was another one I wanted to get as well, and that is No Way Out 2003, which has The Rock and Hogan 2, Austin versus Bischoff, and you've got the world with Steiner versus Triple H, Undertaker versus Big Show. There's a 6-man tag match, cruiserweight match, and the tag team championship match. We have Survivor Series 2005, Return of the Undertaker. So this would be when he came back as the Dead Man Taker rather than the Biker Taker, I would have thought. I'm sure it's around that time. Backlash 2006. So don't think I've shown it. Triple Threat match, Cena versus. I may well have shown this actually. I'll not go into the matches on there, but you can tell by the front of it. Unforgiven 2006. Really bad font on the box. Edge Lita versus Cena. Must have kept going through. Kane versus Umaga. Spirit Squad versus the Highlanders. Okay. And then you've got the Hell in a Cell with DX, McMahon's a Big Show. No Mercy 2007. It looks like a piece of artwork from a John Woo film with Randy Orton with the dove. What's the big match on here? You've got another Punjabi prisoner. This is Batista versus Great Khali. And you've got Orton versus Triple H. Pick a couple of these up. We have the John Cena Experience, which is a PG, so it can't be that many matches on there. Another Cyber Sunday 2007. Another copy of SummerSlam 2006. John Cena Way Life. Survivor Series 2007, which is pretty strange because it features Edge on the front, and I don't remember Edge being part of it. Now, whether this was sort of shown prior and without Edge's involvement, I'm not sure whether Edge had been injured at this point or not. Not really sure. Then we have Live from the UK, October 2007. I promise we're getting to the end of these now. No Way Out 2005, which has JBL versus Shaw in a barbed wire steel cage match, the first ever barbed wire steel cage match. Cena versus Angle, winner to face the champion at WrestleMania 21. Taker versus Luther Reigns, who was a wasted character as well. Night of Champions 2009. Orton, Cena, Triple H. Can't think if I've been through this. CM Punk versus Jeff Hardy for the world would be an amazing match to watch. I don't remember watching it. I've watched quite a lot though, so. Best of Raw 2010, which I picked up from a charity shop not so long back, but the charity shop in question only had 2 of the 3 discs when I looked into it. No Mercy 2006. Booker versus Bobby Lashley versus Batista versus Finland Fatal 4-way. Rey Mysterio versus Chavo. Yeah, Mr. Kennedy versus Undertaker. Another Vengeance Night of Champions. Now the 2 that I did particularly want from this bundle, they're not expensive. I could have picked them up elsewhere independently, but I got the bundle at a steal, really. I think it was something like 18 quid or something like that. We have the Stone Cold Steve Austin 4 DVD set, that's the bottom line. And we also have the Tombstone, the History of the Undertaker. Now, they are probably my two favourite wrestlers, so I really wanted to grab them when I saw them in that bundle. Yes, I've got the network, yes, I can watch it all on the network, but I don't know how long the WWE are going to keep going with the network, given what's happening in the US. So I just decided to pick this bundle up, and this was the sum total of it. It's just some DVDs for me to add into my wrestling collection, and probably get them watched at some point. All that's left for me to do is thank you for watching. I've been the Ink Northerner, and I will catch you on the next one.